my sidekick Davi, and today it is January, which means it is time for my December wrap-up. As normal, I am going to talk about these books in the order of when I finished them, and like always, there are some audiobooks and some physical books, but I read a pretty good amount this month, so let's get into it. I started off December in the middle of Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. I did talk about this in my November wrap-up because I was already starting it when I did it. In fact, by the time I actually filmed my November wrap-up, I had already finished this. I gave it 4.3 stars. It is about a girl named Claudia who accidentally overhears the it couple in her all-girls school break up and ends up being partnered with one of them, and they do a terrible job on their project, and in order to get extra credit, they must audition for a play, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and a lot happens. There's a guy, and yeah, a lot goes on. I do have a book talk for this. I will link it below, and I will have a card for it up there. Definitely check it out if you are interested, and yeah, I liked it. It took me a little bit longer than I was expecting to get into it, but I couldn't put it down once I did get into it. Also, at the end of November, I was listening to the audiobook for 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. I have had a physical copy of this book for years, but it had mixed reviews on Goodreads, so I never actually picked it up. But I finally got the audiobook through the library, so I just listened to it. And I actually really liked it. It's about a girl named Marguerite Kane, and her parents have discovered a way to travel through dimensions. And her father was just seemingly murdered by somebody that was really close to the family. So she and her friend Theo, who's also really close to the family, decide to go through dimensions to find him and kill him for killing her father. But it seems to be a little bit more complicated than it seems. Yeah, I am currently working through the third book of this series on audiobook, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I really am. Read that. I don't have a video for this one because it's several years old now, and it's harder for me to do videos for audiobooks. I don't know why, but I still liked it. Definitely read it if you haven't yet. Next, I read Love, Life, and the List by Casey West. I read an arc of this, but the book is now out. It came out in December, even though it was originally supposed to come out this coming March, but it's out. And I do have a video for this. I gave it 4 stars. It's a Casey West book. I liked it. It wasn't my favorite. I had a couple issues with it that I go into in my review, but it is about a girl named Abby who is in love with her best friend, but that didn't turn out too well when she tried to tell him about it, so she kind of pretended that she was joking. Meanwhile, she's an artist, and in order to get her work into an exhibit, she decides that she needs to make a list of all of these things that will grow her heart and make her more experienced, and she needs to complete them all over the summer. So she sets out to do this, and her best friend Cooper decides to join her in completing the different things on the list. And that's all I'm going to say. I liked it a lot. It's a Casey West book. I did have some issues. The ending seemed a little bit rushed, but that was my main thing. It was adorable. It went the way I wanted it to go. I actually was not positive how it was going to turn out, which is new for a Casey West book. But I liked it. Go read it. Especially if you've read other Casey West books and like her books. It was good. Next, I read the second book in the Firebird series, which is the one about Marguerite and the dimensions. The second one is called 10,000 Skies Above You. I'll have a picture of it here. I do not have a physical copy of that one. Like I said, I've been really enjoying the series. I'm not going to tell you what the second one is about because if you haven't read the first one yet, I don't want to tell you what the second one's about. But I gave it 4.5 stars, I believe. And I will say it has a cliffhanger because I needed to read the next one immediately, but I couldn't because I had another audiobook I needed to listen to first because I only had a few days left on that. But I'll get into that in a minute. But it was good. It was really good. Next up, I read Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. This is an arc. The book comes out this coming Tuesday, I believe. So check it out when it comes out. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite of Marie Lu's books. I seem to like every other series type thing that she writes. This one follows Batman when he is just kind of becoming Batman. He ends up in trouble and has to volunteer at Arkham Asylum, where he meets this girl who is there for murder, but he's the only person that she's willing to talk to. And that's all I'm really going to say. I enjoyed it. I'm not a huge Batman person, and I just wasn't getting as into it as I have other books. It wasn't as good as Catwoman, I can say that much. But I got through it, so that's something. Is that a bad thing to say? It took me much longer than it normally takes me to read a Marie Lu book, one of my favorite authors, so take that as you will. Definitely read it, especially if you do like Batman, because it's interesting. That's all I'm going to say. This next book is actually a little hard for me to talk about. Next I read Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. This is an arc. The book comes out in a couple weeks, and I was so excited to read this book. It is about a girl named Alice. Her girlfriend breaks up with her at the beginning of the book when she comes out as asexual. She thinks that she can never be with anybody because of who she is. And then she meets a boy who makes her feel differently than anybody ever has before. She still doesn't necessarily want to have sex with him, but she just wants to be around him. And it's kind of how she deals with that and learns what it means. I connected with this book on so many levels, and it was actually kind of difficult for me to read, but like in a good way. It was necessary for me to read. I ended up not rating this one because any rating I give it, I don't know if it would be higher based on how personal it was or lower. I don't know, but I couldn't figure out what rating this deserved without my very, very personal opinions being part of it. So I didn't rate it. It's unrateable, but it's important. It's really good. I'm really excited for everybody to read this. I do plan to do a book talk on this. It's going to be a very personal one, but I do want to. When it is up, I will link it below, and you can look for that around the time that this book is released in a couple weeks. Next, I listened to the audiobook for Now I Rise, which is the second book in the Conqueror's saga. I don't think I have a book talk for the first one because I didn't love it. First one was And I Darken by Kirsten White. I didn't love this series. It is historical fiction, and it's basically about two people who are supposed to be leaders in their country but end up being traded away basically for power. And they grow up far away, and you kind of have to read it to understand. I forget, Vladimir or something is who it's based on, but there's a gender swap, so it follows a girl named Lada and her brother Radu. In the first one, I had trouble because I couldn't fully get behind Lada. In this one, I was having more trouble with Radu, but still kind of Lada, and I don't know. Anyway, I liked this one better than the first one, I think. The third one will be out at some point, and I'll read it. Or listen to it, I don't know. I gave it 4 stars again. Lots of 4 stars. Lots of 4 stars. The final book I physically read in 2017 was When We Collided by Emily Lord. This is about two people, Jonah and Vivi, who collide, I guess, during the summer, and they have a whirlwind romance in this one short period of time, and they're exactly what the other one needs at that moment. It deals with mental illness, which I did not know going into it. Yeah, this book was a lot. I didn't know what I wanted to happen because there was something weird going on that made it clear that there were elements of this that were not right. I am happy with the way it turned out in the end. I wish we got a little bit more of an ending than what there was. Mine actually had an additional chapter that helped a little bit. Give it 4 stars again. Lots and lots of 4 stars. And that's all I'm really going to say. And at the very end of the month, I started reading Wait For You by Jay Lynn. That is a new adult novel, which is different for me, by Jennifer Armentrout, but writing under the name Jay Lynn. And it is about a girl who has a dark past that she's trying to run away from. She is starting school, and the last thing she needs is a cute guy following her around and wanting to go out with her. But that's what she gets. I started that on New Year's Eve, so I ended while reading that. One more thing, I also at the very end of December started listening to the audiobook for A Million Worlds with You. That is the third and final Firebird book. Like I said, I was listening to all 3 this month, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm not done yet because it's an audiobook, which usually takes me longer because I usually only listen to it in the car. But I'm enjoying that series a lot. I don't know why it was getting mixed reviews because I'm really liking it. Anyway, I think that's it. I feel like I usually talk about other things, but I don't know. There's a lot coming out in January. Some I've already read, some I haven't. I have arcs for others. I have other books coming out next week and the week after that. There's a lot going on. That is it for December. I might do some sort of overall 2017 thing. I've been a little bit busy, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. But if it does, you will see if you follow my channel. Don't forget to subscribe in order to find out more. Follow me on Twitter at ReadAGonnaRead, and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I will talk to you next time. Bye! Hey, Ellie and Dobby here. Like the video? Come subscribe. Do it right now. Click it.